G'day everybody, and welcome back to Te Akau TV. Louis Herman-Watt here with your Premiership leading trainer, Jamie Richards. Morning to you, Jamie. How are you?
Morning, Louis. Yeah, good. Yep, all going well, and looking forward to a couple of weeks ahead.
Excellent. Yeah, we are. So we've got a couple of nice race meets to preview here today. We've got Tauranga for Friday, and then, of course, Group 1 day. A couple of Group 1 favourites, a couple of odds-on pops for you, Jamie. So we'll get into that as well at Trentham. But I just thought we'd start because I've seen all over the Te Akau social channels, as everybody would have, some lovely purchases from the Magic Million sale. A couple of really nice fillies and a colt as well.
Yeah, it's been a good sale, actually. We've very lucky that Dave's pinned his ears back on a couple that he liked, and put a lot of homework and time and effort into researching these horses, and stoked that we're able to get, firstly, I guess, the big Fastnet Rock colt, lot 163, the horse is very closely related to Northern Meteor that looks a real running 2-year-old sort of colt. So we were very excited to get him. We thought he was the best Fastnet colt in the sale, and really glad that he's coming home to race in the Tangerine. And got 2 fillies on the first day, a Fastnet Rock filly that we loved, that looks a pretty sharp running sort of filly as well, and an I'm Invincible filly. That's a lovely sort from a family that's got a lot of 2-year-old winners in it as well. So they were the 3 purchases on the first day. We bought a cheaper extravagant filly yesterday at really good value for 70,000 from a fast running family as well. So excited to get her, and hopefully we might be able to get 1 or 2 over the remaining 2 or 3 days there on the Gold Coast as well. But it's an incredibly strong sale, but stoked with what we've been able to get.
Yeah, there's some super quality, isn't there, Jamie? I mean, some of those lots going around were just unbelievable. So hopefully it bodes well for the sale at Karaka for New Zealand bloodstock, and you can find some other beauties there. Hey, just before we kick into the preview, I thought we should definitely show the people this trial. This was incredible from earlier in the week, and if somebody missed it, I just thought we better do our due diligence and show them it, Jamie. This is Armelina and Melody Bell trialing in the same race, and they both hit the line really super with the Chosen One, a horse that's run 4th or 5th in a Melbourne Cup behind them. So you were down there. What did you see, and how did you kind of evaluate this?
A really nice trial from both horses. Melody Bell still got a little bit of tightening up to do. She's not quite there in terms of her fitness and her body weight yet, but she needed a good strong hit out, and that'll really tighten her up and bring her on. Opie was really pleased with her, and Emeralina's at the top of her game. She's going well. This is just sort of a nice maintenance trial for her ahead of the Karaka Million mile on Saturday week, and I think she's right where she needs to be running very well.
You've obviously had luck in this race. Amaralina's on the outside here, and you just watch her really find the line, and doesn't love it when Melody Bell heads her, which is always a good sign. You've had luck in this race with Probabeel, of course, and then going back further. So you know what it's like to prepare a 3-year-old filly. She's got all the specs, and she looks like she's right where she needs to be.
Yeah, we believe so. She's coming out of a good race there at Ellerslie on Boxing Day, a month between runs, with a little trial in between times to keep her up to the mark. We think suits her. And funnily enough, we actually, when we bought her at the sale, we said this filly looks like Probabeel. So hopefully, she might be able to live up to it. So it's going to be a really interesting 10 days as we lead into the race.
I hope she's not listening, because nobody needs that sort of that hanging over them. But that's all right. She's a real talent. Okay, let's rip through it, Jamie. Tauranga on Friday, and race 1. It's a real interesting one for you. Speaking of the Karaka Million, we've got the Ray White Papamod 2-year-old over 1,200 metres. And are you going to run Sneaky Shark? Have you decided you have to run Sneaky Shark here with Danielle Johnson, the capitalist colt, who he might not have done quite enough to qualify yet?
Yeah, he's right on the cusp. I think he's 13th with 5,000. It's an ever-changing little make-up there, that race, and I think it's just too risky to not run him. Don't really want to. I'd rather that he was home in the box and just did a bit of work Saturday, Tuesday, but it's looking like we're going to have to. He's got a nice draw. Danielle rides him. I'd like to see him try and take a little sit this time and get a bit of cover and learn to finish off. but I'd say he's got to run at this stage.
Yeah. Okay. So that's an interesting situation. And then, of course, the other horse, the filly in this race, Millefiore, she had was it a raised temperature? So it was scratched out of Sunday at Ellerslie, and she comes here. So I guess a disrupted preparation again. Although last year with Callers a Bell, there was a similar sort of circumstance.
Yeah, she's had a really good prep until Sunday morning, when she just had a bit of an elevated temperature and a little bit of a dirty scope. Until then, she was tracking very well. I'd been very pleased with everything that she'd done. But, they do throw little curveballs at you from time to time, and you've got to, work out a bit of a plan. So I think the week's gone well for her. I think she's starting to get there, and she does need to run because she hasn't raced since the 28th of November. So she'll be going around again. She's drawn well. I'd like to see her ridden for a little bit of cover and taught to find the line, in the hope that both of those horses are going to back up in 8 days and should prepare hopefully really well if they bounce through that race in good shape.
Sammy Collett rides Millefiore at 56.5, the Ifraj filly, and on the bubbles, of course, won super at Ellerslie on Sunday, the race that the filly was scratched out of. Race 6, the Ray White Greerton Handicap. It's an open handicap race, and Weaponry with Joe Cameroon claiming 4, so down to 54.5 from barrier 6. The declaration of war gelding didn't quite roll over them for a place last start, but was definitely not disgraced, Jamie.
Yeah, I thought the run last time was 50-50. I don't know if I gave it a pass. A little bit disappointed that he wasn't able to finish off a bit better than what he did. But in saying that, the track was, perhaps a touch testing. I thought that he didn't mind the slow ground, but perhaps as he gets a bit older, he does want the better ground. That's really the only excuse that he's got. He's trained okay. He worked up with Brando on Tuesday morning, and worked okay alongside of him. So we've gone for the claim, but hopefully he can step up and show that he's back on the job.
Excellent. Ray White, so they're all over this race. Good on them. Race 8, the Ray White Mount Maunganui handicap, just a rating 65 over a mile. Super Sid with Danielle up, carrying 59. 4-year-old Rip Van Winkle gelding, Jamie?
Yeah, he was massive at Rotorua last time after missing the kick. So hopefully we can get him out of the barriers a little bit better this time and at least stay intact with the field. He's probably going to be back a little bit anyway from his wide draw. So he's an interesting runner. I think he can beat, in the first 3 or 4.
Yeah, he chased Mongolian Wings that day, didn't he? Who's got a little bit of a rap. So that's good news. Trentham, we roll on to Saturday. Race 4. We kick straight into it. The IRT Wellesley Stakes for 2-year-olds, $50,000 stakes money. It's over 1,000 meters. And Quattro Quinta, who we know about Quattro Quinta, a good solid horse out of barrier 5 with Danielle Johnson doing the riding at 56.5. It's a Darcy Brahma gelding, and after starting with a bang, and it's had a couple of seconds, I think last time just didn't get over bricks or had a tricky run at counties, but still finished really strongly. I think from memory you were quite happy, Jamie.
Yeah, really big run at counties last time. He got caught 3 deep with no cover, which is very tricky for any horse, let alone a 2-year-old. So I thought his run was full of merit. The horse is going well. He trialled here on Tuesday and trialled nicely. So we're pleased with him. Seems to have bounced through his trial in good shape. He's got a nice low barrier there. Should get a soft run, hopefully up near the speed somewhere, and be a really good chance. This is a field where there's a couple of quite promising horses. It'll be interesting to see how he measures up against Ansu and Tilted, who were very good at down there in the wide rapper the other day.
Excellent stuff. We'll be watching closely. Now we get into the feature part of the podcast, kind of, really. Te Akau TV, at least. Race 6, it's the Devon Plastics Group 1 Living Classic. It's Group 1 week, and it always gets us a bit more excited. Over the mile for the 3-year-olds for $225,000 in prize money. Brando, Danielle Johnson does the riding, 56.5 from barrier 5. Look, the Savabeel colt we've talked about him week in, week out, really, and his last start in the win in the Uncle Remus was a pleasure to watch for a fan and a punter, Jamie. How did you feel when you saw him savage the line like that?
Yeah, it's a really nice one. He's a promising colt that we've got a lot of time for. He seems to have come through that race in good shape and trained well. His work here on Tuesday morning was pleasing, and hope he gave him a little bit of 3/4 pace work here this morning, Thursday, and said he, is really happy with how he's going. So that's good enough for me. Drawn a nice gate and should get a nice run in the race and be a really good chance. He's very short in the market, but I guess he probably deserves that with the form line that he's putting together. But he's a good colt, and we're really looking forward to him racing at Trentham on Saturday.
Probably not the world's strongest Group 1 field for a 3-year-old, and that combined with the fact that he has just been performing so well probably comes up with that odds-on sort of $1.75 market. Just on Brando, does he have scope to train on? What sort of distance could you see him getting out to?
Look, I think he's got scope to get a little bit further, but at the same time, we're obviously trying to build a stallion's pedigree for him. And most stud masters want short, sharp horses that can win, 12, 14 a mile, perhaps 2,000, but probably not a lot further than that. But I think he's got the makings of being a really nice mile to 2,000 metre colt, and we'll get through Saturday, and then we'll sort of firm up where we're going to go from there.
Excellent stuff. Well, speaking of being short in the market, Race 8, the JR and N Burke at Telegraph, Group 1. It's a great race. It's a famous race, 1,200 metres down the Trentham, the wide Trentham straight, $250,000 in prize money at weight for age conditions. She's the defending champ. We love this mare, Avantage. From barrier 10 with Danielle Johnson, 56.5. We all saw what she did in the railway, and you've seen Levante. She's not going to have a go at weight for age conditions against this mare, which is a pretty big compliment, I think. Anyway, how did she come through the railway? And it's a hard race to win. Aidan Rodley had a stat, and you can go find it on Twitter. I don't want to get it wrong, but there hasn't been too many horses, maybe 3 ever, that have won the railway straight into the Telegraph in the same year. It's a hard thing to do, but is there any reason why you would think she couldn't do it, Jamie?
No, I don't think so. We're pretty pleased with her. She's an amazing mare. And the biggest thing about Avantage is her constitution. Like, she just comes home, eats and sleeps, and she's built like a stallion. So I think that's what stands her in such good stead for the 2-week turnaround and the travel that's associated with getting from Matamata down to Wellington. And all of those sorts of things have got to be taken into consideration when you start talking about a very select few horses being able to do the double. So look, she's had a good week. She's had a good 2 weeks. Her work's been solid. She's eating well, looks great, moving well in her work, and goes down there full of confidence after a good win the other day. The only thing I guess that could be a little bit tricky is the barrier. She's drawn 10 of 11, but we just need to be a little bit open-minded with her. She got off the speed a little bit last year and was able to win from back in the field. So we'll do the maps and see how it looks, and then we can firm it all up.
Tavi Mack, the obvious danger, who's just running like a bulldog at the moment. Frodo, they call him. He'll be there, and you'll know he'll keep grinding away. So it's not going to be a cakewalk. But as you say, a Constitution, you always talk about it. She seems like quite an incredible mare. Can you compare this preparation to previous ones, Jamie? Because you had to get her a bit further along for her first up assignment in the railway. So does she feel like she is a bit further along second up, or is she much the same?
I think she's much the same. She got beaten in the Hallmark last year when she was vulnerable first up, but she was also conceding quite a lot of weight to Pretty to See, who ran really well in the railway the other day without a lot of luck in running. So I think she's going as well as we can have her, as well as she has been going the last 2 or 3 seasons. Like, she's an incredible mare to win Group 1 races from 1,200 to 2,000 as a 2, 3, 4 and 5-year-old. She's a wonderful mare and a true credit to the sort of horse that Dave's trying to buy. So I don't think it's going to be an easy race to win. As you say, Tavi Mack's going well. I think Enzo's lad is going to jump and put himself right on the speed and rail like a greyhound. He'll be hard to get past, always is in this race. But we're really looking forward to the contest and looking forward to Saturday.
Burgundy Bell also gets a start here. Barrier 7, Samantha Collett at 56.5. The Burgundy mare, what would you expect from her in this race, Jamie?
Look, she's probably not in the ideal race for her, especially under the conditions of the race, but she's a mare that doesn't really enjoy going right-handed, and we're trying to increase her value by enhancing her race record with more black types. So look, she's going to need a little bit of luck and running to be figuring in the finish. But I was pleased with her trial here on Tuesday. She had a nice quiet trial. She's got enough speed to jump and be positive and get up there. And she'll be up there at some part of the run. And I think she's a genuine sort of first forward chance. I really do.
Awesome stuff, Jamie. All right, you're a busy man at this time of year, so we'll let you get back to it. But before you go, what would be a better chance out of the lot?
Look, it's hard to be tipping out horses this weekend, especially when you've got a couple of really short price favourites. But I'm really looking forward to seeing those two horses race. They've had a good week. They've prepared well, and I'm really looking forward to the two 2-year-olds running on Friday. So, it's all gearing up for a big couple of weeks for us.
Excellent stuff. Jamie Richards, Premiership leading trainer. That's Te Akau TV, done and dusted for another week. Good luck to Connections, everybody doing the riding and involved with Te Akau. It's a fun time of year. Enjoy it.